Tickets are on sale now for our 20th anniversary Back to the 80s and 90s WrestleFest Birthday Bash, Saturday, November the 13th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, WWE Monday Night Raw is in the history books, but it is time for some true insight into the king of sports, professional wrestling. I'm Dan Marotti, joined by your host with the most each and every Monday night, the man on a mission himself, the man that nearly blew the roof off of arenas from coast to coast and around the globe, WWF Tag Team Championship manager of Men on a Mission, the one, the only, OSCAR, Oscar Beck with Wrestling Insider's Monday Night Mission. Oscar, it's hard to believe it's been a whole week since we had a chance to chew the fat, so to speak.
Yeah, I know. A week go by, and you know what can be amazed? A lot can happen in a week's time.
From your lips to God's ears, baby.
And I'll be wondering, I'll be like, God, Monday can't get here, because you can't call you during the week for some reason. But I'll be wanting to tell you so bad, you know, everything that be going on. For one thing, Dr. Reese, can't talk about him extensively yet. I got a note from him. He's still got some documents that got to be put in place before he can, his business can be, you know, and I want to tell the fans so bad because it's all just tremendous. He fired the pieces.
He fired them.
He fired the pieces. He sent them all a letter. I wish you well in your future endeavors, but he fired them.
You can imagine what endeavors it would be for Reese's Pieces, but what's the matter? Was the candy not sweet enough for David Reese?
I believe that when Reese's new situation's coming up, he's gonna get him a younger, more vibrant, voluptuous set.
Well, maybe that's something he can look at down the road as far as opening up again, where he has so much, I should say, important work apparently on the table. We discussed it a little bit next week. I know we're going to talk more about it in the future, but certainly a big time in the world of professional wrestling all around, big time for us. I'm ready to rest my head on a pillow, Oscar. I don't know. My sleep has been all over the place. I need Reese's medical wisdom as much as I do his wrestling wisdom at this point.
He's scheduled to be here next Monday.
In Hotlanta?
No. He's on our show.
Oh, he's going to be on our show next week.
He's going to be on our show next. He's scheduled for next Monday.
Well, no one told me that, but that's good to know. That'll be great.
I'm not sure how much you can divulge.
Oh, wait. Well, you know what? I don't know if I don't know if I told you this, but if this may throw a wrinkle in that plan. For us, I think I don't know if I told you, but I am not going to physically be in the state next Monday. So we could either.
Where you going?
What's that now?
Where you going?
Myself and Mr. Cena and the Little Marottis are going to the Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios. In Orlando, yeah. So it must have been one of the other people we do weekend shows with, but I said we'd have to try and tape on Friday if we wanted to have it on our regularly scheduled broadcast time, but I leave that at your discretion.
Okay, wait a minute. Wait. Slow down. You know what you guys are saying?
I know it's at one of the Universal Studios hotels.
Let me know because I'm not that far. I can probably come for a day or two.
Oh, I didn't know you were a fan of Universal Studios, Oscar.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, then you know what? The more the merrier is the way we look at it. Even though Cena's piece is a little different than Reese's pieces, but, you know, that's how it goes. I worry about him on a roller coaster.
Yeah, no,
Part of them might not come back the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Give me the details.
We're gonna have to get some heavy duty glue.
Yeah, give me the details, and I'll definitely see if I can make that. That is not that is not an impossibility.
Oh, that would be a lot of fun.
I'm not that far away.
Well, I've been waiting over 20 years since I first learned of it to go to a Halloween Horror Nights. I've had annual passes to Universal Studios. And Cena goes every year to the Halloween Horror Nights. He's like a big kid. He loves it.
If you are into that sort of thing, let me preface it by saying that it's a dream for an individual. If you into scary movies, if you're into horror, they really, really bring it to life with more than several haunted houses, and these are not your typical haunted houses. Universal makes up their people really, really well. The effects are real well. You get chased around by killers with chainsaws and oh man. Yeah.
I hope they run pretty slow if they're going to be chasing after me.
They can't touch you or nothing like that. Let's get that straight.
All right.
But,
it's not like Reese's Pieces.
No, it's not like that.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I've never been. It's going to be starting to get just a little colder around these parts, so I think it's a nice time to go, even if it's just for a couple of days, and just get maybe a little respite before we really have to kick things into high gear for the big one. Saturday night, November the 13th, when we go back to the 90s, celebrating 20 years of Boston wrestling sports. It just keeps getting bigger and better. The first MWF television champion, now a two-time Impact Wrestling World Champion, diehard Eddie Edwards, is going to be joining us, even though he's virtually down the street. He wasn't 100% sure what his schedule was going to be that weekend, where he is under a full-time contract with Impact. But luckily, thanks to our buddy D'Lo Brown, who's the head of talent relations, he helped the cause, and very proud to say that Eddie Edwards, one of the finest athletes to ever compete in an MWF ring, is going to be coming home on November the 13th, along with all the great legends and the superstars of today and tomorrow that are going to be with us. A big event that keeps getting better and better. Again, VIP packages and tickets on sale now at bostonwrestling.com. All are welcome, except for one person that I know of, but that's a different story for a different time.
If my situation wasn't changing, and it is, I would be livid and then on the phone right after this show, knowing that D'Lo Brown got a high-level position.
You resent? Wait! You resent D'Lo Brown's position in Impact?
No, I'm happy for him, but I'm saying, okay, I've got a situation that's coming up that I'm in the middle of working out now. God bless that. But if I didn't have one and I knew D'Lo Brown, well, I'll be, and I don't have a damn high level position. Yeah, well, no, I'll be cool. I'll be turning over every rock in the industry.
Well, for the fans of our Fine Wrestling Insiders program, when we were in Las Vegas for the Cauliflower Alley Club reunion, we had a chance to, I think we taped either 8 or 9 episodes with D'Lo. So a lot of great content with the new head of talent relations for Impact Wrestling coming your way later this fall and into the winter. D'Lo's a great guy, very insightful, very well spoken, very interesting episodes. The time just flew by. We were only scheduled to have him one day, but when we learned that Greg Valentine was going to no-show his scheduled slot with us at the CAC, because I don't know what the situation was, but his ex-wife Medusa got an award at the CAC, so he decided to kayfabe, so to speak. So D'Lo was kind enough to join us for a second day. So we didn't.
He didn't come.
No, he didn't.
Medusa was coming.
Not even the courtesy of the class of a text message, Oscar. Come on. Come on. That's a classless human being to do that.
Well,
but
okay.
You know what? It is what it is. I speak too much. But I mean, the fans have started to see some of the great content from Las Vegas. We had the Rey Mysterio speech go up. We're going to have the much talked about Medusa one going up at some time this week. Along with that, we're going to have a great episode of MWF Extra with a phone interview that I taped with two-time WWE World Champion across 3 different decades, one of our featured legends on November the 13th, Mr. Bob Backlund. So we got a big week ahead here in Boston
Wrestling. That's excitable right there.
Yeah.
That's excitable that Bob Backlund is going to be there, one of my childhood favorites. So that is, I was marked out the first time I met Backlund.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's good then.
I used to watch Bob Backlund. I'm going to cut you off. I used to watch Bob Backlund when I was a kid, first watching wrestling when I was like 9, 10 years old. And then to go to the Garden and see Bob Backlund in action and actually got an autograph from Backlund now that I'm thinking about that day. So, and then, 20-some, 30 years later, I actually got to work with Bob Backlund when he was running around putting the chicken wing on everybody. So yeah, that's the circle of life right there.
You talk about you talk about the circle of life. Did you ever think that not only would you wind up working for the WWF, but on the same night you were featured on a pay-per-view in San Antonio, Texas, Bob Backlund would defeat Bret Hart to become the world champion again?
You know what? I even though I was in the, I didn't see it coming. I did not see it coming. Didn't see it coming.
Well, it was a good angle. I'll give him that much. It wasn't a very long run for Bob. He only held it for a couple of days before he lost it that weekend to Kevin Nash Diesel at the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden.
Madison Square Garden. I was right there at the gorilla position curtain when I actually saw that happen. And I remember Diesel winning. Right, it only took one move, and Diesel came out, and the commentator was trying to talk to him, and he said, Diesel, how do you feel about what just happened? And Diesel said, I stopped the insanity. and just kept walking. And it was the funny. Kevin Nash is one of the funniest people I've ever met.
He is. He's got great wit.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. As someone that was there for both of them, which one was the biggest shocker to you that week? Bob Backlund beating Bret Hart for the title, or Diesel beating Bob Backlund for the title?
Oh, easy. Definitely Bret Hart a drop of the strap to Bob Backlund. I didn't think he stood a chance against Diesel because, number one, how the hell was he supposed to put the chicken wing on him and keep him in there?
True, but it was a very short title reign for Backlund. I believe it was Thanksgiving Eve he won it on, and then on Saturday night, he dropped it at MSG to Diesel. That was, I mean, you're talking about just a couple of days. That's one of the shortest reigns in championship history.
Well, you're talking to somebody who's lived the same scenario, so nothing surprises
Well, that's
me.
true, yeah. Earlier in the year, your tag team title run in Europe was rather short when Men on a Mission defeated the Quebecers for the tag team championship gold. But you know what? They can't take away from you that you did it.
No, somebody told me when I was disgruntled by it, somebody told me and put it in perspective, even if you had it for an hour, what's in the history books, it's in the history books.
Yep.
So I can't argue with that. So it's like, because what I never understood? I never understood why it is more prestigious to lose the title and gain it back. Because when you are introduced, it's like that makes you, if you get it once and lose it and get it again, you're a 2-time.
Yeah.
Then you're a 3-time. Then so it's more prestigious to lose and gain it back than to keep it for 3 years straight. Because it's better to hear 7-time champion than it is to hear champion, no matter how long you held the belt.
Exactly. Someone like Backlund, he's a 2-time world champion, which certainly doesn't compare to the number of times that Flair held it, or Cena's held it, or Orton, or Triple H, or those guys have held it. But if you look at it combined, did any of them hold it 6 years, like Backlund did during his first run?
No, exactly. But again, the aesthetic sounds better, even though the actual fact is better to have held it 6 years, but it don't sound like that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 110% on that, actually. But again, it'll be great for the fans here in Boston to meet Bob Backlund. It is a very rare appearance for Bob. He doesn't get out of the house much for appearances anymore unless it's very close to home. So I'm thrilled to be able to have him with some of the headache and stress that went on behind the scenes here when we were trying to fill that slot. That's a different story, again, maybe to be told after the event takes place. But
you fans are in for a treat, because I can tell you one of the nicest people that you ever want to meet.
And on top of that, his book is outstanding. If you haven't read Bob's autobiography, I implore you to pick up a copy on November the 13th, or, you know what, whether it be through Amazon, if you're not in the Northeast and can't join us, it would make a great holiday gift. Very detailed book about his time as first in college when he was an NCAA champion and growing up on a farm in Minnesota, then going on to the annals of professional wrestling, and then going on to the creme de la creme, the World Wrestling, or the Worldwide Wrestling Federation at that point, and ending superstar Billy Graham's championship run to have that lengthy run until buddy old Khosrow Vaziri, the Iron Sheik, the man I almost died with, put him in the camel clutch and made him humble at MSG before the Sheik lost it the next month to Hulk Hogan. And then the Hulkamania era began, but that's, again, also a different story for a different time. Oscar, what do we got cooking in the King of Sports Professional Wrestling this week?
Okay, we're going to slant for a minute.
All right, what do we got?
We're going to slant, and we're going to talk about a situation in football.
Football?
Because you're going to get the point. It's going to kind of circle its way right around to me and you.
All right.
Now, we're going to talk about Jon Gruden for a minute.
Oh, getting a little controversial here, Oscar.
Yeah, Jon Gruden, the disgraced LA Raider coach, who they caught up to his emails, and his emails contained a homophobic, racist, and misogynistic quotes that he said over the years as recent as 2019. Now, exactly what was said, I don't know. But he was talking about female referees, and I use your imagination, but whatever it was, forced his resignation from the LA Raiders, and he was really good for the LA Raiders. I know I was at the game.
Las Vegas Raiders.
The Las Vegas Raiders. I was at the game, the opening Monday Night Football, and it was one of the greatest games that I've seen in recent memory. And Jon Gruden did his job. Now, I want to talk about the misogyny part for a second, because I don't know what was said, but guess what, Dan? You and I have been accused of misogynistic statements.
I'm not surprised, but
I want to clear it up.
Okay.
Here's the clear up. The clear up is, and I think I speak for you when I say this. I'm not talking about or putting down women in wrestling. That is not what I'm doing. That's not what we're doing. We're not talking about women being in wrestling. Should they be there? Should they not be there? But should women be in wrestling? Of course they should. Let me say that again. Should women be in wrestling? Of course they should. But if your promos and your in-ring work for that night or over a course of time is trash, I'm going to call you on it. And that's whether you are a woman or whether you are a man. If you are not doing the job properly across the board, that is my problem with you.
Yeah, I agree with you 110%. I think a lot of it boils down to the presentation. You know, there's someone like Asuka I mention a lot. I enjoy her wrestling an awful lot because she gets in there and works like a pro wrestler. She doesn't get in there and, you know, work light or, you know, with moves that wouldn't look like they'd crack an egg like you see a lot of the times with, you know, those that don't even need to be mentioned yet again on this program where we're trying to make a point. But, you know, I am still a big proponent of the idea that WWE and all of these companies give the ladies their own platform to compete on where they're not held to the standards of the men who get in there and for the most part are much snugger and stiffer in their wrestling, and then they're not going to be compared to it. The WNBA and the NBA are two different things. And I also, and I've noted before, I'm not a fan of the female referees for the men's wrestling matches. I think it eliminates the threat and the danger of the violence. Fans know in 2021, unless there's a complete giant accident at their fingertips, no male wrestler is going to put their hands on a female referee, while they very well could do it to a male referee. I'd like to see the females referee the female matches and the males referee the males matches. That's my opinion. That's my personal opinion.
That is exactly the point. But we at a point now where in society that they call it gender. What they call it? Gender equality.
Gender equality. Yeah.
Gender equality, where now females believe that they need to be on the same playing fields as men in just about everything that there is in society. No, females don't have no business on a football field with men. And I'm going to tell you why. The first time one of these females get ran over like a Mack truck by one of the 400-pound linebacker, the first thing you're going to see is a bunch of finger pointing. You're going to see a bunch of finger pointing where she shouldn't have been out there in the first place. And there's a lot of female groups that are calling you and saying this, but it's true. And it's just like you just said. Female referees in the ring with men cannot participate in a match as effectiveness as a man being in there because they can't be touched. They can't be thrown out the ring. You throw a female at the ring, she's not going to wind up on the mat. She's going to wind up 8 rows in the stage.
Exactly.
And get hurt. I don't want to see that.
So, I mean, there's a place for everybody. It's just a matter of the right presentation, in my opinion.
Females belong in there with other females. Because, see, here's what's going to wind up happening over time. Female referees get out there on the football field and they stay out there and everything is cool for a couple of years. Then a case going to be made why there can't be a female quarterback. And you out your damn mind.
Well, you know, I don't know what was written in the Jon Gruden emails. I don't think they've been publicly released. If they have, I've been too busy to read them. But, you know, I think it's awfully says a lot about the character and integrity of the Tampa Bay Bucks that, you know, they removed Jon Gruden from there. I think it's called the Circle of Champions, while they have Antonio Brown on their active roster who, you know, masturbated and ejaculated on the back of several women's necks and other issues he was accused of. You know, I think it's rather rich they keep him on the active roster when he can help them win football games, but they remove Jon Gruden over emails. Now, Jon Gruden's emails could be very nasty, and maybe he does deserve to be removed from their Circle of Champions, but does that mean that Antonio Brown should remain on the active roster? I don't know.
When Michael Vick was killing dogs, that man was hated more than O.J. Simpson.
Yeah.
But I told some people the day the story came out, probably the next day, I told some people that I was at a little dinner party with, I told them that I'm in the sports analyst business, which I was at that time, and so I can safely and confidently tell y'all this, and this is true. As soon as the heat dies down, as long as Michael Vick can get on that field and make some things happen, he's gonna be back. All the stuff about the dogs is gonna be forgiven. You're not even gonna remember it, and all you're gonna see is Michael Vick on the field making things happen. And guess what?
You were right.
It took some time. But Michael Vick was back like nothing happened.
Do you think Gruden will get a second chance?
That's my point.
Probably not.
No, it's not tomorrow, but eventually we're gonna forget, and you're gonna see Jon Gruden. I'll put it like this: Jon Gruden's coming back. Now he may not come back with a high-profile, public job as being a head coach, but he's gonna be in there somewhere, a defensive coordinator in the front office somewhere doing something. Jon Gruden's career is not over. It's just paused right now while we all pissed off. But as soon as that die down, as soon as we start to forget, as soon as time heals everything. Look at Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan was supposed to be gone forever because of those racist comments he made. And guess what? Hulk Hogan merchandise back on the shelves, and Hulk Hogan is everywhere now.
Well, I don't know if I'd say everywhere.
It.
I wouldn't say everywhere. I think it's toned down compared to what it was during the comeback he had from 2014 to 2015. But you're not wrong. There's Hulk Hogan merchandise available throughout WWE, and he does make sporadic appearances, even though he was booed at WrestleMania 37 in his hometown of Tampa, which kind of surprised me. But, it is what it is.
The machine giving him another opportunity. The machine putting his merchandise up because the first thing they did was take all his merchandise off. Oh my God, we're sympathetic to the blacks and to everybody. And he should have said that. We wash our hands on. Yeah, like I said, over time, these things have a way of repairing themselves, whether I like it or not. And you see these people that have said this stuff, as long as they can make a contribution to the machine, they're going to be back in there somewhere. You watch what I tell you about Jon Gruden.
Do you think Hogan deserved a second chance?
You asking me personally, and I do, because number one, I really don't know what he said. And even if I knew, I really don't care. Because like I said, when it first came out, you and I talked about this, when it first came out in an interview when I was in the studio with you.
Yes.
And I told you he didn't say it to me. So I wasn't offended by it.
Well, again, these situations, sometimes they boil down to one person's opinion. Do actions speak louder than words? I don't know. Look at the situation I'm in over one sentence from one email and the chaos going on at City Hall revolving around Memorial Hall. But again, that's a story we'll probably get more in depth with after our Back to the 90s 20-year anniversary of Boston Wrestling Sports.
Let me tell you what I believe about that.
What do you believe?
I believe that when we come into the building, your ass can be right there with us.
Really?
I believe it 100%.
Well,
I would be mega shocked if your ass really, 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 really couldn't go.
Well, maybe you and Mimi will have to talk to Piggott. I don't know.
I mean, let me tell you something. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. You damn right I'm going to talk to Piggott if your ass ain't there.
Well, I just think it's sad the afternoon of the event, as a lot of fans know, we have a private free event for the kids from Make-A-Wish and Special Olympics and families of homeless shelters in Boston, the Big Brothers, the families of the troops overseas and that are active right now, even in the United States. And, to try and put something like that together out of the goodness of your heart, not be able to see it come to fruition, it's very sad when there's 13 years worth of email that paint a very negative picture of Piggott. The three different mayors have chosen to do little about, especially the one now that is her brother-in-law. So, I don't know.
Well, like I said, I just told you, and I made a prediction. I cannot see this event trying to go on without you. There's no way in hell. And like I said, I made that other prediction, and this is true. If I can't find you, I'm going to find Piggy. Be
Well,
like, what the hell?
just if you remember the facts of life, just look for Mrs. Garrett. You'll know exactly who it is.
And Piggy going to get on her cell phone. She ain't going to tell you she's sorry, but she's going to tell you, come on.
All right. Well, wrestling fans, right now, great segue into our timeout. Here's a little bit more about Saturday night, November the 13th, Memorial Hall, Melrose, Massachusetts, as we celebrate 20 years of Boston Wrestling MWF by going back to the 90s. Get your VIP packages and tickets on sale now. I'll be back with the man on a mission himself, Oscar, on the flip side. Stand by. Tickets are on sale now for our 20th anniversary Back to the 80s and 90s WrestleFest Birthday Bash, Saturday, November the 13th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts. The World Wrestling Federation was live at the LA Sports Arena in Los Angeles, California, Sunday, October the 18th, 1987. In the opening contest, Rip Oliver beat Scott Casey. Billy Jack Haynes with the win over Boris Zukov. The Ultimate Warrior defeated Steve Lombardi. George the Animal Steele battled Dangerous Danny Davis to a double disqualification. $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase victorious over Brutus the Barber Beefcake. The Islanders beat Strikeforce. Bam Bam Bigelow with the win over King Kong Bundy. And in the main event, the Macho Man Randy Savage defeated King Harley Race. If you were in Los Angeles live, share your memories in the comment section below. Use the links in the description box to keep Wrestling Legends working in our eBay store and on our Patreon streaming service so we can bring you more interactive superstar shoot interviews to relive the good old days of professional wrestling. Check it out. Boston wrestling sports in the MWF explodes into a new year with professional wrestling content galore and need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after our Monday Night Raw review, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. after NXT and AEW, join rotating legends on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's no-holds-barred sex, drugs, and rock and roll journey on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday night after SmackDown, don't miss Jon Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, history videos, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. For less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, get early ad-free access to our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times. Join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the unexpected in 2021. Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marotti.
And I'm Jon Cena Sr.
Johnny, the momentum here in Boston wrestling continues as we continue to build and build and build. The fans want to know, how do we help? We subscribe to the Patreon, but we see all the great merchandise on that set. Coronavirus may have killed the nightlife, especially for someone like Marty, but our acclaimed eBay store is open 24/7 around the world.
Wow. Check it out.
Support Wrestling Insiders in-studio shoot interviews on eBay with this brand new personally autographed WWE Royal Rumble 2021 11x14 poster signed by WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns, his advocate Paul Heyman, and Kevin Owens. Reigns and Owens battled for the Universal title in a last standing match January 31st in the Thunderdome in Tampa. This limited edition collector's poster is number 31 of only 50 produced. Comes with WWE authentication hologram on the poster itself. Also comes with an on-air shout-out from WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas and a bonus autographed 8x10 photo. Get this rare, awesome collectible for your man cave and help keep wrestling legends working now. Wrestling fans, especially here in the Boston area, we want to thank our great friends at Red Rose for their support for all of our charitable endeavors and programming efforts. Red Rose is 2 years young and extremely thankful for all the support they've had from our neighbors here in Melrose and beyond for an amazing first 2 years. Red Rose thanks Melrose and all of the first responders who have fought the good fight and have never given up hope during these unprecedented times. We did it together. Follow Red Rose on Facebook for their anniversary special, facebook.com/Red /Red Rose Melrose. You'll be glad you did. Open until 2 a.m. Red Rose will give you fresh, piping hot, mouth-watering food that'll put an ear-to-ear smile on even the toughest critic's face. Check out their full menu online at redrosema.com or give them a call, 781-620-1889. All right, wrestling fans, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that little break there. Again, so many great athletes. Again, we mentioned the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. I tell you, Oscar, one of my favorite things about putting this event together, sir, nothing against the great legends and superstars that are going to be on hand. It's always great to see them. Let the fans have their moments to share memories with them, whether it be an autograph, a posed photo, or even a handshake. But to me, I love trying to put together the superstars of, not as much today, but the superstars of tomorrow. The young up-and-coming athletes that really want to cut their teeth, that are ready to go balls to the wall to make an impact for themselves in Boston Wrestling, MWF, and, you know, just some of the younger talent that the fans are going to see. I think they're going to be so impressed with. You go back to that last event we had right before the coronavirus hit. Christian Casanova has gone on to become Carmelo Hayes in NXT. Brian Pillman Jr. is with AEW now. Yuta Wheeler is with AEW now. Even some of the better-known talents. Evan Bourne, Matt Sydal, he's an AEW regular. Vicky Guerrero, she's an AEW regular. Mark Henry, he's an AEW regular.
How did the war go, the ratings war go with AEW and WWE Friday?
I have to be honest, I have been paying so little attention to wrestling with the Red Sox in the playoffs. I've been to all three home games thus far. I'm going to be at least at 2 of the 3 home games this week. It has held my attention far more than pro wrestling has. WWE continues to lose my attention. I've paid more attention to AEW. I don't know if that's addition by subtraction. I don't know. It's just I'm at the point now where it bores me too much. And, you know, it's one thing to look at the business trends and the transactions and the different talents moving around and, you know, news and notes. But as far as sitting down, you know, up until I think it was sometime around the summertime, you got to remember, four days a week we were doing recap shows of Raw and NXT and AEW and SmackDown. And it just got to the point where they were just so negative. It's like, why, if you don't like it, why bother watching or why put negativity out about it? You know what I mean? I respect the athletes. I think WWE itself has the greatest group of athletes they've ever had, but as far as the presentation goes, it's not doing anything for me. AEW, at least, it feels a little different.
I cannot get behind the push that they give in Doudrop. I can't get behind it. I can't understand it. I can't get with it. I just don't get it. And it just irks me to my core because it's so unrealistic looking. It's just
a waste of time. It's not going to sell any tickets. It's not going to sell any merchandise. It's filling TV air that continues to dwindle in the TV ratings. Why bother to push or even present Doudrop? I asked John Cena Sr. I asked Johnny. I asked him if he wanted to drop a little do, but he didn't want to answer that one. He didn't answer that one.
But see, here go the sad part. You know, Doudrop is like the counterpart to what Otis is.
Maybe they would have been a good tandem. But Otis now is presented more as a shooter than anything else. He went from being, now he's just this kind of badass that no one believes in because he was presented like an idiot for over a year.
Yeah, now, see, here's the bad news, Doudrop, and I hope you listening because I would tell anybody who the other shoe is surely going to drop on to get their ducks in a row. I mean, yeah, you're getting this big push now, but don't get comfortable just because you're getting it. Many have gotten it before you, and then before you know it, when cuts came around and releases came around, their name was on the list, and they ain't even see it coming.
Well, if they're going to get rid of the Fiend, I don't know if Doudrop is safe.
Right. For you, baby girl, you need to you need to really be prepared that as soon as whoever it is stop laughing at the Doudrop experience, your ass gonna be gone.
Well, I haven't even started laughing yet, so I don't know what that tells you.
Now, if somebody's laughing, that's the reason why she's getting what she's getting.
Yeah,
But
I'm
they
sure
can't-
it's
but
Vince
they
McMahon
can't-
finds humor in it, and then everybody else wants to laugh around him, and there we have it, Doudrop.
Well, but they can't laugh forever
No.
because the truth of the matter is it ain't even funny.
Well, I mean, look at Otis. SmackDown was built around Otis for a point of time last year, and it was terrible. And then they just eventually they phased it out, which was for the best. But what does that leave Otis with now? He's part of that tag team with Gable, and he's not the funny-go-lucky guy he was anymore. He has a completely different look. You almost wouldn't know it was Otis.
Yeah, well, that can't last forever either.
You think
Because
Otis should be saving the paydays like his former
he
tag team
better.
partner Tucker?
There's going to be a massive restructuring done. There has to be. And when it is, you're going to find a lot of that silliness just not part of the situation. And for people like Otis and people like Doudrop, when this reckoning come, and it's going to come, they're not going to be a part of that because when the direction that they go in is not going to carry that. It's not going to carry that sort of thing.
Well, I could have seen room for Otis the way he was, whether it be in the tag team of Heavy Machinery with Tucker or even as kind of the goofy singles guy. But the point is, it's not a main event, top of the card type gimmick. It's an undercard gimmick.
And no, but see, that's the thing, though. When the whole thing gets dealt with, they're gonna be looking. See, this is the thing. They have got to do a restructuring because they have got to prepare for a major war with AEW, and you're not gonna be able to carry these battles, let alone win them with no damn Doudrops and no damn Otises. I mean, you have got to get damn serious because I've been paying more attention to AEW, and they are damn serious about what they're doing. They damn serious about the matches they having. They damn serious about the storylines they carrying, and they damn serious about the money they putting behind this product.
Well, it's a much improved product over the past 4 or 5 months or so, I'd say. I'm really impressed with how they've kind of turned the corner. There's still some characters and wrestlers that I would prefer not to see. I think their women's division is lackluster even compared to WWE's, and they just announced they're adding a second women's championship, the TBS title, once they transition Dynamite and Rampage over to TBS this coming January. But in the big picture, the grand scheme of things, you can't deny success. I mean, you know what? There's a lot of eyeballs watching the show, and there's a lot of fans attending the TV tapings every week. At a time when we mentioned, I believe last week, Survivor Series at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn hasn't got a sniff of the attention that AEW did at Arthur Ashe Stadium back in September when they sold just about 20,000 tickets.
Yeah, well, they're coming out here to Duluth, Georgia, 5 minutes from where I live. They're coming here December 1st, and I definitely plan to be in the house because I plan to be in the house.
Well, what about, let me ask you this, what about New Year's Day? You're going to be there for the big pay-per-view in Hotlanta.
Oh, the big pay-per-view was in Atlanta on New Year's Day?
Well, on New Year's Day, it's a first for WWE to have a New Year's Day pay-per-view. To be honest, I don't even know what day of the week it is, but they found it to be, through research of some kind, a great day to have a pay-per-view.
What pay-per-view is it?
I don't even know the name of it. It's a new one.
Oh, okay.
But New Year's Day at the home of the Atlanta Hawks, WWE will be presenting a pay-per-view live. Maybe it'll be, new concept, new idea. Who knows? It could be more of the same. But they decided to do away with TLC in December because it was in such close proximity to both Survivor Series in the New Year's Day pay-per-view. I guess they figured, why throw out another pay-per-view that no one really wants to see?
Well, I don't know. Your buddy Dreamy Mimi decides where we go when it comes down to that.
Mimi's the boss.
She's the boss. So if she's at all interested, then yeah, definitely.
Now, what about this little baby? Are you going to bring the baby with you to the pay-per-view?
That's another Mimi's question. I don't know the situation about what's going on. I mean, first off, we had to find a place to live.
Yeah.
So we had to put that on pause until we got that straight. Now we got that straight, so I'm pretty sure now we can get into making sure that situation happened. Because I told her, even if you gotta go and get the baby, you can go get the baby.
You're ready for the baby at this point.
I'm ready for the baby. I'm not looking forward to the baby.
Well, I think that says a lot about you, that you're willing to take on that responsibility. You're not the average age of a newborn, so to speak.
When the baby, I'm 6 years old when the baby's 18.
The funny thing is, Reese has probably still got some out there coming out that he doesn't know about.
Yeah, I know, right? We all go, oh, Lord, we all just, wait a minute, let me do that now. It's like 58, 10, 68.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I'll be in my 70s.
You'll be in your 70s, Oscar. Yeah, I didn't want to correct you, but.
Yeah, I'll be in my 70s.
Well, think about it. Reese would be in his 90s.
Yeah,
when his next one comes out.
I'll be 76 years old, the baby.
If you make it to the high school graduation.
You know how these teenagers are. They be talking mad smack to their parents. I'll be too old to swing on.
Now, Oscar, you're breaking up a little bit, brother. Did you move the headset at all?
Yeah, no. Can you hear me now?
Not especially better, no.
I'll be too old.
You're getting too old for your headsets.
Now
you sound great.
I'll be too old for this shit.
Well,
That's what I can say.
It should be a reality show.
Oh, I wouldn't embarrass myself like that.
Well, this Thursday afternoon, Oscar, you're going to have WWE Network set up to tune into WWE Crown Jewel live from Saudi Arabia.
I told you that I didn't want. I told you no.
Oh, I didn't remember asking you, but you know what? I believe we did discuss it. Yeah.
I told you that I was aggy about the Shah Khashoggi situation, and that I was not supporting that particular product.
If you worked for the company and they requested your appearance there, would you turn them down?
Yeah, I would probably say no.
Really?
I'd probably say no, I can't help you.
Wow. Well, I had a chance to speak with several of the talents that described an almost hostage-like situation on the airplane at one of the more recent Saudi Arabia events. So there's a lot to consider. A lot to consider.
I don't understand how, under the circumstances, that they could strike a deal or even go back, and that people would want to put themselves at risk like that, being held hostage on a plane by a bunch of people who are known to have, they just terrorist type activities, and that's supposed to be okay. Yeah, let's go back.
Well,
hell no.
$50 million an event speaks volumes, I guess.
Yeah, but I ain't getting. I'm not getting nowhere near a piece of that $50 million. Kiss my ass.
All right. Well, even if you were with WWE, let's just say it was the mid-'90s during the new generation, like what we're going to have on November the 13th at Memorial Hall in Melrose when we go back to the 90s, you'd turn them down if they said we need men on a mission in Saudi Arabia.
I got cramps. I can't go.
That would be your excuse. You got some cramps.
I got cramps. I can't make it.
Any predictions for the big show? You have the Lesnar and Reigns showdown with Paul Heyman kind of stuck in the middle between the two of them. I think that makes for an interesting dynamic. Maybe it would have been better saved for Survivor Series, but that's just me.
Well, what you got to do is you need to figure out how to keep the belt on Reigns, because Lesnar is only, we've talked about this 1,000 times. Lesnar is only going to show up when Lesnar show up, and that's 3-4 times a year when the money is hot, and the money can't be hot every week.
Right.
But then again, the flip side of it is that nobody might not even care. You can give Lesnar the belt, and it'll be a title defense when Lesnar show up. Because you got to understand one thing: Reigns has had the belt a long time, so maybe a shift in power is exactly what the situation is called for at this point.
Well, from what I am told, the title change is not expected in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, but anything can happen in WWE and change at the last minute, much like it did when Goldberg kind of castrated The Fiend. And funny enough, Goldberg will be having a big grudge match at the pay-per-view with Bobby Lashley. Any prediction on that one, Oscar?
I think that Goldberg is the storyline is going to go that he is pissed off enough to really give Lashley a run for his money. So
would you have Lashley lay down again, where he just lost the title to Big E to Billy Goldberg?
If he could lose to Big E, then he can lose to Goldberg. So my money's on Goldberg 100%.
Real 100%, really?
100%.
Wow, I'm kind of surprised by that.
Because what they did was they let Big E, they put Big E over to show Lashley does have major vulnerability, so it won't be so far-fetched when Goldberg is over on him.
Yeah, but to have them lose twice like that, so close to each other, I don't think that would be a good thing for Lashley. But yeah, a man you just mentioned, you talk about a match that I don't think anyone has any interest in. For the WWE Championship, Big E defends against Drew McIntyre at Crown Jewel.
Yeah, well,
do you have any interest in that one, Oscar?
I have no interest in it.
None.
But I do have a prediction.
Now, what's that?
I do believe Drew McIntyre gets the belt back.
Even though he's moving to SmackDown on the next night.
Oh, that's right. He sure is.
I almost think they're giving away the ending for that one.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, Biggie got to keep the belt. Oh, there it is.
Spoiler alert. And then you have the women's triple threat match when the women will come out looking like they're in their pajamas, when you have Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch. Any prediction on that one?
Yeah, Becky Lynch wins it by a mile. They not gonna. She's gonna keep the belt. She's gonna keep the belt for quite a while.
You think she'll retain the title in her Irish-looking pajamas?
Yep, she's gonna retain the title.
Well, it's. I don't think a lot of fans are going to be tuning in at Thursday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on WWE Network on Peacock. I could be wrong. But you will not have the Oscar television set tuned in.
I don't know. The jury is kind of out on it.
Maybe.
I might. I mean, if I ain't doing nothing Thursday afternoon, then yeah, maybe I'll tune in just to see what happens, so that I can talk intelligently about it when we reconvene on Monday.
If nothing else, we'll have fresh content to talk about thanks to the pay-per-view.
So, I mean, yeah, we'll be able to talk about that the whole show. So, yeah.
All right. Well, you know what? That sounds like a plan then. Anything else in the world of wrestling that we haven't noted this week?
I don't know. Oh, yeah.
What do we got?
Next pay-per-view for AEW looks really, really good.
And I believe that's emanating from Baltimore, Maryland.
Right.
Yeah, Full Gear.
Yep, Full Gear looks to be interesting. With the Jon Moxley situation, and I don't know. they got a lot of stuff that's piqued my interest. So,
Well, after the fans join us live at Memorial Hall, they can go home and order the replay, turn it into a big night of wrestling.
yeah. Now, is that gonna hurt us?
I think under normal circumstances, yes, but I think so many people just want to get out of the house, not as much as it would. I don't think it helps, but I don't think it's as bad as it could be if it was pre-corona times.
Okay.
AEW decided to move all of their pay-per-views to Sundays, but because they don't want to compete with the NFL, they're keeping this one on Saturday. And it was just, that's what led to so much change, which is another big story from behind the scenes of this event. But we'll tell that story when the time is right. Nothing against anyone.
All right. Well, that's all I got.
That's all you got?
I gotta have a bedside meeting with Dreamy Mimi.
Oh, wait. Whoa. A bedside meeting with Dreamy Mimi. Bedside. A little bedside activity going on. I hope we're going to cut the interview short if that's what's going to be going on.
I said bedside.
Oh, all right. No, not in bed. All right, wrestling fans, you heard it from the man on a mission himself. If you're watching live during the premiere, share your thoughts in the premiere chat. The super chat button is always open for business, helps us keep the lights on. If you're watching after the fact, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I know Oscar would like to do an episode where we react to some of your comments that you leave for us. Give the video a big thumbs up if you had fun tonight. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's absolutely free. And again, folks, the clock is ticking. 1 month from right now, the interviews will be done. The events will be over. Maybe I'll have a moment's peace. I don't know. Highly unlikely because there'll be a lot of video footage to edit. But you know what? Again, it's less than a month away. It is unbelievable. Again, those VIP packages and tickets are on sale now at bostonwrestling.com. You can only celebrate a 20th anniversary once. And with some of the great athletes you're going to see compete inside the squared circle, one hell of a way to kick off our third decade, Oscar. And I guess, again, like he always does, he hangs up without letting me know. One hell of a guy. What a friend. Unbelievable. All right. For the former WWF Tag Team Championship Manager Oscar, I'm Dan Marotti. We'll see you next Monday night after Raw with Oscar's Wrestling Insiders Monday Night Mission. Until then, you and yours be well. Good night from Boston. Thank you for joining us. Please give the video a big thumbs up, leave us a comment, and subscribe to the channel to enjoy more great content. Don't forget, you can help keep wrestling legends working. Check out our eBay store and join the Boston Wrestling family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling so we can produce more in-depth shoot interviews.